So what is the difference between hypnotherapy and psychotherapy? Is it the same? Are those two conflicting fields? Should you do the two approaches at the same time? Should you wait until your therapy sessions are done and try hypnotherapy, or vice versa? Maybe you have some conflicting beliefs about hypnosis, right? And about therapy as well. Maybe some psychotherapists, they are actually supporting hypnosis, and some of them don't. The same with hypnotherapists. Some of them discrediting therapy because it's ineffective, for example, and some of them are actually offering the clients a continued support in talk therapy. So what's the difference? Let's go and figure it out. Welcome back to my channel. My name is KateSemeniuk. I'm a hypnotherapist. And today's topic is the one that people usually ask me on their consultation call. They tell me, Kate, what is the difference? I'm doing the talk therapy and you are doing the hypnosis. What that will help me? Like how hypnosis can improve my life, or can you help me with these issues? Because, for example, I've been in therapy for 5, 6, 10, 20 years, and I don't seem to have a breakthrough. And in order for you to understand what options you have, you need to understand what is the difference between two approaches. Let's start first with a little bit of a history, right? So, did you know that hypnotherapy was way earlier a therapy approach before the psychotherapy came into the field of mental health help, long before the Second World War too, right? In order to help people with trauma, right? Doctors and psychiatrists, right? They asked clients to close their eyes. They knew that by closing your eyes, you can bypass at least a little bit of that conscious mind, and you can connect to yourself and connect to the true root cause of the problem, right? Because, and usually people who came from the World War I, World War II, with complex trauma, they were treated with hypnotherapy because that was more effective and more short-term than just talking about the problem. However, after the Second World War II, the rise of antibiotics, the rise of the pharmacology business started to expand, to explode actually, and antidepressants came into the horizon. So what happened when antidepressant came? They usually became like a quick fix. Why would you torture yourself in sessions, right? Why would you torture yourself with pain when you can just take this quick pill, right? And you can take it every day and you can feel better, and you can feel better right away. Very quick, right? It's now that we can see the results of the massive, right, intake of antidepressants, that it actually doesn't address the root cause. It numbs some feelings, right? It numbs some pain, but it doesn't actually help people make a breakthrough. But at some point, it does help to bring a person to a more regulated nervous system, right? So that they at least can make changes in their life. So before all of that, when the psychotherapy came into play as a supporting field to antidepressant, then hypnotherapy lost its popularity, right? So a lot of hypnotherapists actually went into the entertainment business. They started to do shows, hypnosis shows on the stage, right? More and more discrediting. I'm not against hypnosis shows, right? But I would just say that it's a different goal than the hypnotherapy, right? Hypnotherapy aims at finding the root cause, right? Helping people resolve the issue on the subconscious and unconscious level, while hypnosis stage, it's an entertainment. It's just showing people how suggestible they are, right? So a lot of hypnotherapists went into stage, into entertainment, and hypnotherapy kind of lost its popularity, its status, right? Its credibility. And so recently, fast forward to 5-10 years, right? The last 10, probably 15 years, more and more people are talking about hypnotherapy. More and more people talking that I actually tried it. Athletes, celebrities, right? High achieving people, they're very famous people, right? Are talking about like, oh, this is what helps me. This is what I'm doing the self-hypnosis. Olympic athletes using the self-hypnosis often to direct and program their mind for their body to work and perform at the highest peak of their ability, right? So now it became more and more widespread, and of course we can see, right, a lot of hypnotherapy trainings, right? We see a lot of different people actually come into hypnosis as usually as a last resort. If you think about it, it's usually as a last resort. So let's see the core differences. What should you choose? Talk therapy or hypnotherapy, right? And I'm not going to put my own opinion on that because it's going to be biased, right? I'm a hypnotherapist, right? So of course for me, I choose hypnotherapy, but at the same time, I also see the importance of maybe people coming to therapy sessions first and then come into hypnotherapy, or finding a therapist who can do two approaches. So first of all, the biggest difference between hypnotherapy and therapy is the part of the mind that we work on. So talk therapy usually works with your logic. You are with open eyes, you sit on a chair and you talk, and the client and the therapist can ask you some insightful questions like, how do you feel on a daily basis, right? Like, or tell me about your childhood. It can tell you like, what is your, what are your values? What are your view of the world, right? They can explore a lot of different things in order to help people with coping with stress on a daily basis, how to notice the thoughts, how to maintain, or how to maintain the distance between, the anxiety that comes in or the panic attack that comes in, right? And usually people feel very empowered and inspired by the talk therapy. The only thing is when they go back home, they drift back into this familiar pattern. They might feel better because it's really good to actually share, right? Confession and sharing of your problems really, really helps to decompress a little bit of that stress. However, when they come home, we drift back because we work on that surface level. Sometimes we touch a little bit of a subconscious triggers in talk therapy, but usually it works mostly on the conscious level, logical level. And hypnotherapy works with the subconscious mind, the 95% of your mind. If you've ever seen an iceberg, right? And so the top is a very small top that is visible for people. That's the logic, that's the conscious mind, right? This is what we see, what we understand, right? What we know, what's right, what's good, what's wrong, what's right. But then underneath that huge part of the ice, that's our unconscious and subconscious mind. And those are our feelings, beliefs, core values, our inspirations, right? Our triggers, our pain, our trauma, right? All of that is there. So subconscious mind dives right under the water, right? And dives right into the subconscious mind. How hypnotherapy does that? It bypasses a little bit of our conscious mind, right? People are going to this light, relaxed state with the closed eyes. Anytime you close your eyes, you already bypass a little bit of your critical, like judgmental side of your mind, right? And so you bypass it. You can be inwards more when you close your eyes. And even if you relax, right? And a hypnotherapist can, have different approaches. There are so many approaches how a hypnotherapist can help you achieve that state of trance. Whether it's a light trance, whether it's a deeper trance, whether it's actually the trance with an open eyes, doesn't matter, but hypnotherapists know. And so they help you get into that state so that you can make the big, deeper changes. Right? So that's one of the strongest differences, right? Therapy works on a conscious mind, hypnotherapy works on the subconscious mind. Technically, if you take conscious and the subconscious mind, logic, right, between them, there should be a bridge. And so hypnotherapy, what I find, builds that bridge. Therapy also aims at building that. It's just harder to do it through the logic than to do it through the subconscious mind. That's it. All therapy aims at helping people. So that's the main thing, right? And usually, by the way, the most important part in therapy is not actually the approach. Because if any approach would work, actually, then there will be no other new approaches coming out, right? But it's not about the approach. It's about the person that is offering the therapy sessions as well. It's about the therapist. It's about the hypnotherapist, right? Their experience, right? Their compassion, their how the approach they find to the client's trust to the therapist. There are so many other factors that contribute to the effectiveness of the therapy. Another difference between is the time investment, right? So a lot of times people believe that, well, therapy needs to take at least 20, sometimes now there is an accelerated therapy approaches, so 6 to 20 sessions, right, in order to see the significant result. And that's amazing. You can uncover a lot of things, in issues, and you can understand a lot more about yourself, right? However, it can take you up to 1 or 2 years. Right? Going every 2 weeks, every month, right, to a therapy session, that can take you years sometimes. And if you have panic attacks or if you have phobias, these are the hardest to treat. The most unconscious responses we have, like nightmares, like phobias, like anxiety, like panic attacks, like unexplained fears, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, right? All of these are harder to address in talk therapy because they're so unconscious, right? Don't you know what you need to be doing? You know, right? But at the same time, somehow you don't know. So you don't do it. So because mind learns by repetition. That's why hypnotherapists usually send the recording, the tape, right? The music file, right? Was the voice that you can train your body to go into self-hypnosis, to train your mind for a different response, for a different belief. So with the time investment, of course, right? Hypnotherapy takes much faster, right? For example, I practice RTT hypnotherapy in 3 sessions. Maybe it takes up to 3 months because you need to listen to your recording each time, right? For 21 to 30 days, that can take up to 3 months. Whatever we achieve in 3 months probably needs years of therapy. And it's not because therapy is bad or it's not effective, right? It just works with your talking mind. And the talking mind is only the surface symptom mind, right? And it's harder. People sometimes know, like, oh, I feel not good enough. But how do I feel enough? I don't know. Right? So some people respond very well to talk therapy. Some people don't. The same with hypnotherapy. Some people come in and they're like, oh my God, I love this state. I love it. I meditate already. I'm on a spiritual journey. Like, I love it, right? Some people say like, well, I didn't even feel anything. That also happens, right? Not everyone, right, is for hypnotherapy. And hypnotherapy is not for everyone. You need to be ready for that experience. The same with talk therapy. So for the time investment, it's clear. Talk therapy takes longer. Hypnotherapy takes faster. Get into the root cause. The third difference is get into the root cause. In talk therapy, you slowly, the first 2-4 sessions, you probably get to know the therapist, right? You talk about your story, you share your story, you share your life, you share your challenges, right? While in hypnotherapy, for example, I don't do that. I do 20 minutes and then we go right into the root cause of the problem, right? So we don't spend that much time on building the rapport. That's why I make these videos for people to get to know me, to get to know my approach, right? So we don't have to spend that much time, and many sessions and much more money, right? In order to get to the result. So get into the root cause. Get into the root cause is easier through hypnotherapy because it works with the subconscious mind. The root cause is what we don't know. We are driven by what's unconscious. Talk therapy will take time until you build that trust and you allow that vulnerability to come out and you have these realizations and insights. However, I do believe there are therapists that can do it much faster. It all depends on the expertise as well, right, of the therapist as well. So I'm not claiming that all hypnotherapists are like this and all therapists are like this. Not at all. Another difference is the effectiveness in reframing beliefs, right? So while talk therapy can give you incredible coping tools, sometimes clients come to me and they tell me all of these coping tools that they've learned from therapists. That's amazing. It's incredible. However, they still believe they're not worthy. They still believe I'm not worthy, right? And therapists also feel that frustration, right? Like I've done so much for you. Why don't you change, right? They also feel a lot of therapists, by the way, are very depressed and anxious and unfulfilled in their jobs. That's because they come into this industry in order to help people, and they really want they really all want fast results, and therapists really want like the faster shift, the faster realizations, the faster insights, and when it doesn't happen, it frustrates a therapist as well. Right? So that long term, maybe that was the reason why I didn't choose to go into the psychotherapy, right? Because I grew up in a beautiful home, but at the same time I was very impatient. I lived in my subconscious mind, so maybe that played a role, right? That I don't like long-term therapy. Life is a therapy. You're supposed to go into the world and live the life and see it, life events as the best therapy. And if someone can teach you that, amazing. So reframing the deeper core beliefs, they require work in the subconscious mind. Unfortunately, here, talk therapy is not as effective, right? Addressing specific issues, right? I believe that the most deepest core beliefs, the deepest traumas are great to uncover with hypnotherapy. While something like life coaching, relationship, parenting, couple therapy, right? These are great. These are great for the talk therapy, right? I don't have time, to bring two people and to talk to them, and to explain to them. Like, I'm not a couple therapist, right? As well, I'm not a parenting therapist, right? That requires kind of like a coaching support, right? Where you can ask the right questions, when you can teach people how to communicate, and at the same time uncover these traumatic experiences and triggers. So that requires some time. So coaching also, it's not a one session, right? So these are the main differences, right? Between the psychotherapy and the hypnotherapy. What I found is when people go to talk therapy, they usually come to hypnotherapy as a last resort. And I love it, right? I really love when people come to me prepared for the hypnotherapy, right? Or sometimes people never tried any therapy and they're like, you know what? I don't want to go for years. I really want to uncover the root cause. I really want to move forward. And I find that it works as great. Right? So it doesn't matter at what stage you are. It's what is your willingness to go deep, to go into the raw, uncensored, sometimes painful emotions and feelings, or you want to uncover them day by day. I love how Marisa Peer compares it. Marisa Peer says if you are going to go and you have a wisdom tooth that really hurts and needs to be removed, you come to a dentist and the dentist say, you know what, come to me every Friday. We're going to pull it a little bit. Gonna, pull it a little bit, and maybe in 15 sessions, 15 Fridays, we can pull it fully out, right? You don't want that, right? You come to a dentist, you want that tooth out, so you are not in pain. I see therapy and mind work the same. I don't like I do love studying, healing, meditating, right? Do working on self-knowledge all the time, but I don't like going and mewing over and over, the same problem over and over again. It's either I don't want to change, really, or I'm not ready to change. That's also possible. Sometimes clients I'm not, and I've had those clients. They tell me, Kate, I get it, but I'm not ready. I get it. Everything we worked in the session, I get it, but I'm just not ready. I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid to change. And I totally understand that. Because a lot of issues that I've had in my life, right? Some of them I'm still not ready to face. And that is completely normal. So as long as you approach it with a love and compassion, right? The change will happen. At some point, the change happens when it's too painful, right? Or when we are just done. We're just done with suffering. So these are the main things. What you are going to choose for yourself is going to depend on what is your personality? What is your vision on mental health? What do you want for yourself? Maybe you do have time going to the talk therapy. Maybe you love that connection with the therapist every single session and you found a really good one. Go for it. But the aim of the talk therapist should be to let you out into the life. If you're going for 5 years to the same therapist every 2 weeks, you need to question yourself. What is happening right there in that process? Who is not willing to do the work, right? Or who is holding you in the therapy, or maybe you are not willing to do the work. And one more thing to consider. In Canada, for example, right? Therapy sessions are covered, right? Covered by the insurance, which means that you, for example, if a therapy session costs like $200, 80% or 90% or even two plans from two people who will live together in one household can cover the full session, right? So you come in and you don't pay anything, right? You pay just a little bit of a premium probably from your paycheck. Here's the trick. If there is no energy exchange, the commitment drops times and times lower, right? There is no exchange, right? The commitment drops. What I notice is people who come to me and they're business owners, they don't have the insurance. Not all of them have the insurance. They just don't pay for it. They just pay for the services right away. They have a much higher commitment. People who pay for the sessions of hypnotherapy, and my services are not covered by insurance, right? They have so much commitment. They listen to the recording after the session. They do feel the change. They do feel the shift. However, if they don't, they won't. Because if you pay $20 for your therapy session, right, there is no energy exchange. You feel like, oh, I still have what? I have $500 or $700 or $800, right? I still have so much more sessions to go. So why would I change right now, right? When people come to me, they're like, oh my goodness, my chances are like 1 in 3. I've paid like a good amount of money, like I'm committed to this change. And people make better changes. So there are different factors that play in the benefit and result you're going to have. But I'm sure that looking at this video, you're going to have a better understanding. Better understanding. Hypnotherapists, what I see, have more flexibility, right? They have more flexibility, but of course it's important to find a therapist who will be careful, with your diagnosis, for example, who can be careful with, approaching things that they're not trained in, right? For example, like a strong borderline disorder, right? Psychotic disorders, right? Some diagnoses, right, are not supposed to be dealt in hypnosis, right? So it's good to go to talk therapy and to psychiatrists, right? And then maybe psychiatrist sees that, okay, I think you can benefit from hypnotherapy. Then you can come to hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapists have more flexibility to talk about spirituality, right? Hypnotherapists have more flexibility, to go around and try different approaches, right? While psychotherapy is very highly strictly regulated, right? So you have to abide to a lot of rules, right? Which also can limit, that personalized approach to the client. So there are benefits of both approaches. You need to understand what time do you have, what desire for change you have, what is your goal for the future, how long you want to spend, how much you want to spend, and then see and weigh all of these factors and decide what is the best for you. So I hope that was valuable. I wish you all the best. Be healthy emotionally and physically. Bye.